Hi, this is Trey Pastors. I'm giving you my top 10 best movies of 2017. In no particular order. First, I'm going to give you my honorable mentions. Movies that didn't make the cut, but I really enjoyed. So I'm going to put Blade Runner 2049. I know a lot of people said it was too long. Well, this is going to have spoilers in it anyway, okay? Just so be aware. Okay, I know a lot of people said that movie was too long and a little cultivated, but I loved it. I love the visuals of it. I love Ryan Gosling in it. I loved Harrison Ford in it, the brief time that he was in it. The only negative for that movie was the villain, Jared Leto. I don't think his character was fully fleshed out, but I enjoyed the visuals in it, and I loved the actress. I forgot her name, who played the the girlfriend character of Ryan Gosling. I thought she was beautiful and breathtaking, and I really love it. For a minute, I thought she was like related to Mia Kirshner because she looked so much like her. I thought for a minute maybe that she was her daughter or something. But anyway, or sister or something. Anyway, also honorable mention to The Gifted, which Chris Evans, about uncle taking care of his sister's kid and having to fight his mother for custody of her. I thought that was a really good movie. I saw it. I didn't see it in the theaters, but I bought it, and I really enjoyed that movie a lot. I thought the young actress was good. I thought Chris Evans was really good, and I really enjoyed that movie. And also Molly's Game, which I saw yesterday, and my review's up on this channel. I really enjoyed that movie a lot. I thought Aaron Sorkin, the dialogue was great in that. He directed that was his first movie. I thought Idris Elba, Jessica Chastain was great as Molly, and the movie was really smart, sharp dialogue, and really I enjoyed it a lot. It made me want to actually get the book and really read about Molly Bloom, the character, because she sounds like an interesting person, and definitely want to enjoy that a lot. Okay, John Wick 2, I love that. A nice sequel to the first movie. Okay, and middle chapter was pretty good and nice and violent, just like the first one. And of course, you want to see the third part whenever that comes out because this was a nice middle chapter of a sequel. Okay, and movie called Life had a lot of stories in it. Ryan Gosling, no, not Ryan Gosling, Jake Gyllenhaal. What's his name? Ugh, can't remember his name. Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, and it was basically a story about these scientists that go into space and they discover this new species, and had the ending of it is a complete mind f. Okay, it was a really smart, and that ending was out of this world, literally. Okay, and really good. And Ingrid Goes West. This is a movie. Elizabeth Olsen and I forgot the actress uh, who plays Ingrid. She's this girl that she's basically in the age of social media. She became hooked on being friends with people, and she basically, after her mother dies, goes west and reinvents herself and becomes friends with this girl, and she becomes obsessed with her and stuff. And it's about social media and all that stuff, and it's really good. Audrey Plaza, that's her name. Audrey Plaza, she played Ingrid in the movie, and she was really good in this movie. And Ice Cube Son is in this too as well, but Elizabeth Olsen as the object of this girl, Ingrid, of Audrey Plaza's obsession. Really good movie. The Boss Baby, Alec Baldwin is a baby who comes home to his family, and you discover that there's really a secret behind this whole hidden world with babies and stuff. And it was really smart to me and funny, and really well done. I really enjoyed that. Okay, so an American-made Tom Cruise about Barry Seal, a guy who was basically flying planes for the CIA and stuff, and his life was really complicated. The fact that this really happened made it even that much better, and Tom Cruise did some of his best acting, and the movie wouldn't be half as good as it was without Tom Cruise's performance in this, and definitely one of my good movies, best movies of the year. But anyway, now my top 10 movies of the year. Like I said, no particular order. Okay, let's see. Detroit. This movie I really enjoyed. I didn't know this story this happened, which is based on a real life incident that happened in Detroit, and Catherine Bigelow directed it. And I think it's going to get nominated for Best Picture. It had a lot of different excuse me, stars in it. John Boyega was in it. I think Anthony Mackie had a small role in it. But a bunch of lesser-known actors were in this as well. But it's a really good story about race and police abuse and all this stuff. And it really was one of the better done movies, like I said, because I didn't know about the story at all. Okay, they didn't teach us this in school, so the fact that it's a real life thing really, really got to me. So anyway, number 10. Okay, number 9, Split. This movie this is a movie starring James McAvoy as a guy who basically suffered from DID. I forgot. Basically, multiple split personality. That's what's called split. And he has all these different personalities, and he winds up kidnapping these 3 girls. And this one of the girls that he kidnaps actually is a victim of an abuse. Okay, and her father actually taught her how to survive, and that comes in handy when she's trying to survive this experience of getting kidnapped by this guy who has multiple personalities. And James McAvoy is outstanding. It's probably the best performance I've ever seen him do, with all all these different characters in this. And Betty Bucky plays his psychiatrist who fears that he's really went over the edge and stuff. And it's a really good movie. Definitely, and it leads, of course, into to be a sequel to Invincible, the movie Bruce Willis, what they're filming. I think they're filming it right now. And saying actually, so this is sort of be, I guess Invincible came out first, so I guess this would be sort of a sequel, and then they're making the movie that's going to have Bruce Willis's character going up against James McAvoy's character, which should be really, really good. So I'm looking forward to that. That was one of the best movies. It really surprised me how good it was. Excuse me. Okay, number 8. It. This was of course, a remake of the miniseries that Stephen King did, that came out in the 80s, or was it? It might have been the 90s. Anyway, about these kids growing up and having to fight off this mysterious It character. And of course, I love the miniseries. I thought Tim Curry was great in that, and I thought the kids were good. And then in the miniseries, they showed them as kids and they showed them as adults. In this movie, it was just the kids as kids. And I thought it was very well done. I think the young actors did a great job with it. And I forgot the actor who plays It, the clown. He was really good, and he did a different take on the clown. But he was really good in this. And so, of course, this movie. The only thing I didn't like about this movie is that one of the characters named Mike, who in the miniseries was supposed to be the one that brings him back. He becomes a librarian, and he brings all the characters back in the in the miniseries when they're adults, and they come back to Derry to fight It again. But in this story, they kind of shortchanged his role and gave his role of the researcher to somebody else. That's the only part I didn't really like about that movie, because they kind of shortchanged his character. But everything else I really enjoyed about that movie. It was a worthy remake, and again, the young actors I think did a fantastic job, and it was sufficiently scary. Okay, number 7 on my list, the Lego movie, the Lego Batman movie. That's the one I'm talking about. I really enjoyed that. That was probably, without a doubt, better than the Justice League movie, better than a lot of movies, because the movie actually had a point to it, about Batman trying to be a loner, and he basically finding out that he didn't have to be alone, that he could let others in. And that's the basic gist of it, but done in a comedic way and great way. And Will Arnett is fantastic as Bruce Wayne / Batman. He was great. You had what's his name, Michael Cera as Robin. I thought he was great too. I forgot who played I think was it who played Batgirl. I'm trying to remember. It doesn't matter. But the Lego Batman movie was fantastic, and definitely would love to see a sequel to this. And I think the guy that does the Lego Batman movie is supposed to be doing the Nightwing movie, I think. So I would love to see him do that, because obviously he understands the characters in that world, and he did a fantastic job with the Lego Batman movie. Fantastic movie, in my opinion. Now, number 6 on my list, Logan. When we knew that going in that was going to be Hugh Jackman's last turn as Wolverine, and what they did with it was fantastic. They actually advanced it and made him Old Man Logan, and the story was absolutely fantastic. And the young actress that they got to play X-23 she was fantastic in this. And this story was definitely something that I wasn't expecting. And it's like set in the near future, and mutants are mostly dead, and they're on the hunt for this X-23 character who hooks up with Logan and Professor X, and she's trying to survive. And it really became such a really powerful story about, and Hugh Jackman, I think, gives one of his best performances ever in this, and it was a fantastic movie. It came out of nowhere to me. I wasn't expecting this, and it really was well done, I have to say. Okay, and definitely, I think it should get nominated for Best Picture. I know superhero movies normally don't, but I definitely wouldn't mind if this movie got nominated for Best Picture. I want to get a nomination for that because I think it's that good. Okay, now number 5 on my list. Excuse me. Uh, Baby Driver. Baby Driver. This is the movie from Adam Wright, right? Oh, I think Adam Wright, right? Or Edgar? No, I'm sorry, not Adam Wright. Edgar Wright. Pardon me about that. Baby Driver. I love this movie. Going in, I saw the trailers, and it did interest me. And the guy, I forgot his name, Ansel Elgort. I think that's his name. Ansel Elgort. He has a weird name, but he was in Fault in the Stars and stuff. He's the love interest in that. And I was so looking forward to it. He plays a character who he had an accident when he was a kid, and basically he does driving, but he's a really good driver, and he has to listen to music to drown out all the noise. And you have Kevin Spacey in this, you have Jamie Foxx in this, you have John Hamm in this, and he's basically the driver for that. And it's a great music in the soundtrack, really good story about a guy trying to survive, and he meets this girl, of course, and it really turned out to be really good. You got good performances out of him, and you got a great performance out of Jamie Foxx. I thought he was great in this. A little over top with John Hamm, but still a really good movie. And Kevin Spacey, I thought, was really good in this. And it just really surprised me how much I enjoyed Baby Driver. It really, and the way it ended was not the way you normally think sometimes these movies don't end. The character actually went to jail. He actually, there was a point in the movie where he could have tried to get away, but he actually, his girl wanted him to get away, but he actually said, no, I'm going to do mine. And he actually went and served his time and did his time. And then she was waiting for him. I thought that was really a smart move on Edgar Wright's part. And plus, like I said, killer soundtrack. Okay, now, number 4 on my list, Get Out. This is a movie from Jordan Peele, of Key and Peele. And he did a fantastic job about a guy who was going to meet his parents. He's involved in an interracial relationship. And he goes to meet his girlfriend's parents, and it turns into something way worse than Guess Who Coming to Dinner. It turns into something weird and subversive and entertaining as hell. And I really enjoyed this. I thought the friend who played his best friend, I thought he was great and that he was fun as this. And I forgot the actress the guy from The West Wing, and I forgot who the actress who played the parents. I thought they were good. And I thought Allison Williams was good too as the girlfriend who brings up the unsuspecting boyfriend to meet the parents. I thought she was good as well in this, and just really turned into a really good thriller, and especially a little twist on the social commentary on on family life and stuff and expectations and relationships. It just really. There was that moment in the movie where you see him, he discovers all the boyfriends that were there before him. I thought that was a great moment in that movie. Okay, now number 3. Okay, Dunkirk. I love Dunkirk. Dunkirk was about directed by Christopher Nolan, based on the incident in World War II between the British, where they were stuck in Dunkirk and they had to try to get back to Britain. And I thought it was a very well done war movie. Like I said, I didn't know about Dunkirk before I saw this movie. So going in, I went in to it cold, and it was really one of these really good war movies. Basically showing you these guys, all these. It bounced from story to story, different characters in the story, but they're all tied in together. And Tom Hardy's in this. I think who else was in this? I forgot the other actor who was in it, played the commander. But it was a really intense movie, especially the first 15 minutes of this movie are like some of the most intense 15 minutes of a movie you ever see. It reminded me sort of of Saving Private Ryan, when they storming the beach and guys were getting picked off left and right. Where you see the two guys, they're running, trying to get through the town, and people are shooting at them, and there's basically no dialogue. You just hear the violence, and it's just you just hear them running, and it's super intense. And I thought Christopher Nolan did a great job with Dunkirk. I thought it was, like I said, one of the best movies of the year. Just intense all the way through, and I really enjoyed it. And I think it's definitely going to get nominated for a Best Picture, definitely without a doubt. And now number 2 on my list, Spider-Man: Homecoming. Um, I really enjoyed Spider-Man: Homecoming a lot because, like I said, I saw Tom Holland in, of course, Civil War, as Spider-Man, and of course, this was his own movie to shine. And I thought Tom Holland did a great job playing, Peter Parker and slash Spider-Man. I think it was some of the best, especially from what came before. And when they got rid of Andrew Garfield and they said they were going to go younger and go back to, so I was a little apprehensive about that. But seeing him in Civil War and then seeing him in this solo movie, I thought Tom Holland has charisma. He makes a great Peter Parker slash Spider-Man, and I loved the way he interacted with Robert Downey Jr., with his friends, with his love interest, with Michael Keaton, who I thought was really good in this movie. I thought Michael Keaton was really good, just showing you how menacing he could actually be playing a villain. He showed as the Vulture, he was really good, and some of his best parts, scary parts, was when he wasn't in the suit. Okay, that conversation he has with Peter Parker in the cab is not the cab in the car before he get ready to go to the prom. It's some of the most intense moments you'll see in a movie. It's one of those that conversation is just intense. And I thought again Tom Holland did a great job, and I can't wait to see him in Infinity War because for far as I'm concerned, he is Spider-Man now going forward. He really surprised me how good he is as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Like I said, a lot of times I think Garfield was good as Spider-Man. I think Tobey Maguire was good as Peter Parker, but I think Tom Holland is good as both characters, and I enjoyed it. I can't wait to see him going forward in other movies. So that's my number 2 movie of the year. And now my number 1 movie of the year is, of course, Wonder Woman. I really enjoyed this movie a lot. Gal Gadot, again, when she was first announced, I didn't want her. I wanted Alexandra Daddario. I wanted her to be Wonder Woman. I think I even made a video about that before they picked who was going to be Wonder Woman. But it seemed, again, like Zack Snyder knew exactly what he was doing, because Gal Gadot, who I only knew back then in the Fast and the Furious movies, that's the only movies that I had seen her in, and I thought she was way too skinny to be believable as Wonder Woman. But once that first image came out, and then seeing her in Batman v Superman, and then seeing her in her own movie where she just kicked ass, and she was just there's so many good moments in that movie. One of the movie, my favorite parts of the movie is when she first comes to England, and she's she's going around with Steve Trevor, and she sees a baby, and her reaction is just so priceless and natural that I just immediately, because you really believe that that she's never been around other anywhere else, but she said, "Oh, a baby," and she and just her her enthusiasm, just her general surprise, it just something about her naivety, I guess, really got you, that you really believe that this was her first time being anywhere else but Themyscira. And I think she had great chemistry with Chris Pine. I thought Chris Pine was great in this movie as well. The only, I know a lot of people didn't like Ares in this, but I liked the actor who was playing Ares. Okay, I didn't have a problem with him. Okay, I liked him. I liked the girl that played the woman that played Dr. Poison. I thought she was good as well. And I really enjoyed that, again, when she goes up, what do they call it? I forgot the scene where she goes up the ladder, goes No Man's Land scene. The No Man's Land scene is one of the best scenes in any action movie, period. It's just fantastic. And she just kicked total ass, and you really believed in Gal Gadot. She really, I think that movie just solidified her as Wonder Woman going forward for the next generation. Okay, because before that, I think everybody else still had that image of Linda Carter, but I think going forward, everybody has the image of Gal Gadot now as Wonder Woman. She really solidified herself, and even in the Justice League movie, she still kicks total ass, and she's just fantastic. And I can't wait for her next solo movie and to see her in other movies as Wonder Woman. She really just became the character for me, and I can't wait. So that's my best movie of 2017. Okay, for me. So anyway, let me know what you think of my top 10 movies of 2017. What do you think of my list? Feel free to leave comments down below. I have links to my Facebook, my Twitter, and my Instagram in the description box, as well as my other channel, Paul's Views and Opinions. Please check that out as well. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.